You walk into a room and nobody turns their head. You speak and people talk over you. You try to assert yourself and they laugh it off. You're invisible. Not because you're physically small, but because you carry yourself like prey. Your body language screams, "Please like me." Your eyes dart away when someone holds your gaze. You fidget. You over-explain. You apologize for existing. This is the modern crisis of the nice guy. You were taught that kindness equals weakness, that politeness means submission. And now you're trapped in a cage of your own making. But 400 years ago, a warrior named Miyamoto Musashi walked through battlefields where one wrong step meant death. He never begged for respect. He commanded it. Not through volume or aggression, through presence, through an aura so dense that opponents felt defeated before the first strike. This is not about being liked. This is about being untouchable. The problem isn't that you're too nice. The problem is that you need approval like a drug. Every conversation becomes a negotiation where you're selling yourself. Every silence feels like failure, so you fill it with noise. Every disagreement triggers panic, so you fold. Musashi called this the diseased mind. In the Book of 5 Rings, he wrote that a warrior must eliminate attachment to outcome. The moment you care what someone thinks, you've handed them your sword. Your brain's reward system fires dopamine when you receive social validation. You feel good, but like any addiction, you need more. So you laugh louder at jokes that aren't funny. You agree with opinions you don't hold. You shrink yourself to fit into spaces that don't deserve you. This is the opposite of respect. Respect doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from being immovable. Musashi introduced a concept called Zanshin, lingering awareness. It's the state of mind where you're completely present but emotionally detached. Picture a wolf watching a herd. He's not anxious. He's not excited. He's just there, fully aware, waiting. That calm creates an energy field. People feel it before you speak. It's not charisma, it's readiness. Your body is saying, "I don't need anything from you, and I'm not afraid of you." That's the aura. But most men never build this because they confuse stillness with passivity. They think being calm means being soft. Wrong. Musashi was calm because he'd survived over 60 duels to the death. He knew what violence looked like. He knew what death smelled like. And because he'd crossed that line, nothing in civilian life could rattle him. You don't need to kill anyone, but you do need to know your own capacity for destruction. Jordan Peterson says, "You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it. If you're harmless, you're not virtuous, you're just weak." There's a famous Zen parable from feudal Japan that illustrates this principle perfectly. A tea master is traveling through Edo, dressed in samurai robes for safety on the road. But he's not a fighter. He's never held a sword in combat. He pours tea. That's his art. Suddenly, a ronin steps out of the shadows. A masterless samurai. Drunk, angry, looking for blood. The ronin sizes him up and issues a challenge. A duel. The tea master tries to explain, "I serve Lord Yamanouchi in the way of tea. I am not a warrior." But the ronin doesn't care. He sees the robes, he sees the swords, and he's offended that a mere tea master would wear the sacred garments of a samurai. He wants to teach this impostor a lesson. The tea master realizes words won't work, so he agrees. But he asks for one night to prepare. The ronin laughs and walks away. The tea master returns to his lord and bows. "I am going to die tomorrow. Teach me how to die with honor." Lord Yamanouchi looks at him, studies his face, then says, "I will teach you all you require. But first, perform the way of tea for me one last time." The tea master kneels. He goes through the ritual, slowly, deliberately. Every motion is precise. No wasted energy, no hesitation. The water boils. The tea is whisked. The cup is presented. Perfect stillness, perfect focus. Lord Yamanouchi watches in silence. Then he nods. You already possess what you need. When you face him tomorrow, enter the duel exactly as you enter the tea ceremony. Don't think about winning. Don't think about dying. Just be present. The next day, the tea master meets the Ronin. He doesn't tremble. He doesn't beg. He draws his sword exactly as his lord taught him. Slow, controlled. His eyes are empty, not afraid, not angry. Just there. The Ronin looks at him, and for the first time, he sees something that makes his stomach turn. This man isn't afraid to die, which means he's the most dangerous kind of opponent. The Ronin lowers his sword, apologizes, and walks away. The tea master never swung. He won through presence. That's Zanshin. That's the untouchable aura. It's not about being the strongest. It's about being unmoved. Musashi wrote about the void in the 5th scroll of his Book of 5 Rings. He called it Ku no Maki, the Book of Emptiness. Not emptiness as weakness. Emptiness as mastery. He wrote, "In the void is virtue, and no evil. Wisdom has existence, principle has existence, the way has existence, spirit is nothingness." This isn't about intimidating people. It's about reaching a state where your actions and awareness become one. The void is the highest level of martial understanding. It's the point where technique disappears and you move with pure spontaneity. No hesitation, no overthinking. You see the opening and you take it before your conscious mind registers the decision. Musashi called this state absolute freedom. Most men never reach it because they're trapped in their own heads, calculating, worrying, reacting to what they think might happen instead of responding to what is happening. This is where emotional immunity comes in. When your mind is empty, there's nothing to exploit. No ego to bruise, no insecurity to target. You become like water. People throw punches, and you're not there. They insult you, and you don't react. Because reaction is weakness. Reaction means they found a button. And once someone knows where your buttons are, you're finished. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. What did you do? Probably got defensive, raised your voice, tried to explain yourself. That's blood in the water. You just showed them exactly how to hurt you. Instead, Musashi would look at them. Silence. Not awkward silence. Observational silence. The kind of silence that makes people uncomfortable because they realize they didn't get the reaction they wanted. Then he'd either respond with surgical precision or walk away. Both options destroy the attacker's frame. This brings us to Metsuke, the method of looking. In Kenjutsu, Musashi taught his students to observe an opponent's entire body, not just the sword. You see everything but focus on nothing. Your gaze is soft but penetrating. You're not trying to intimidate. You're collecting information, reading distance, perceiving timing, sensing spirit. When you look at people this way, they feel it. Because most people either look away or stare aggressively. You're doing neither. You're just observing, present, unblinking. Step 1. Eliminate fidgeting. Right now. No more touching your face. No more shifting weight. No more checking your phone mid-conversation. Plant your feet. Let your hands rest. If you're sitting, don't bounce your leg. Stillness is not natural for modern men because you're overstimulated. Your brain is fried from dopamine, so train it. Start with 5 minutes. Sit. Don't move, just breathe. Feel the discomfort. Let it pass. Do this daily. In 2 weeks, your body language will shift. People will notice before you do. Step 2. Fix your posture. Not gym posture, war posture. Shoulders back but relaxed. Spine straight but not rigid. Chin level. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head toward the ceiling. This isn't about looking big. It's about looking unmovable. When you walk into a room, you're not trying to impress anyone. You're just taking space. Own it. Don't apologize for your presence. Most men collapse their chest because they're trying to be small. Stop. You're not a guest in your own life. Step 3. Master your gaze. Practice in the mirror. Look at your own eyes without breaking contact for 30 seconds. It'll feel strange. Good. That discomfort is where growth lives. Then practice with strangers. When someone speaks to you, hold their gaze 3 seconds longer than feels comfortable. Don't stare them down. Just don't look away first. This will trigger something primal in them. They'll either respect you or avoid you. Both outcomes are wins. Step 4. Control your voice. Speak slower, lower. Use fewer words. When you're asked a question, pause before answering. Even if you know the answer immediately, the pause communicates, "I'm thinking about whether you deserve my response." It sounds harsh. It is. But respect isn't given to people who are always available. It's given to people who are selective. Step 5. Dress like you're going to war. Not a literal war, but the war of daily life. Musashi kept his armor clean and his sword sharp even when he wasn't fighting, because appearance is part of strategy. You don't need designer clothes. You need clean clothes that fit. Sharp edges, no wrinkles, no stains. Grooming matters. Trim your nails, cut your hair, iron your shirt. This isn't vanity, it's discipline made visible. Here's the hard truth. Most men will watch this and do nothing. They'll nod along, feel inspired for 30 minutes. Then go back to scrolling, back to seeking approval, back to being invisible. Because change requires discomfort. And you've been conditioned to avoid discomfort at all costs. But Musashi didn't build his legend by being comfortable. He built it by walking into situations where death was possible and choosing to act anyway. Jordan Peterson talks about this exact concept. He says the goal isn't to be harmless, it's to be capable of monstrosity, but choosing control. To know you could destroy someone verbally, physically, socially, but choosing restraint. That's power. That's respect. When people sense you're capable of violence but choosing peace, they treat you differently. Not because you're nice, because you're a controlled threat. The tea master didn't win his duel through strength. He won through presence, through the willingness to die without flinching. And that presence came from one thing. He'd eliminated his need for approval. He wasn't trying to survive. He was just there, fully committed to the moment. That's what makes a man untouchable. Not muscles, not money, not status. Just the unshakable knowledge that you don't need anything from anyone. So here's your final protocol. 3 steps you execute today. Not tomorrow, today. 1. Find one fidgeting habit and kill it. Right now. 2. Hold eye contact with the next 3 people you speak to until they look away. 3. Speak half as much as you normally would for the rest of the day. Let silence do the work. This is katana mindset. This is the path of the modern warrior. Not the man who seeks conflict. The man who doesn't need to The man who's so deeply rooted in his own power that external validation becomes irrelevant. If you're ready to build that aura, to become untouchable, then subscribe. Join the ranks. Because this channel isn't for the weak. It's for the men who are done being invisible. Master yourself, or the world will master you.